Friends, welcome to my talk on addiction. So let's start with what is addiction. Addiction is repeated involvement with a substance or activity despite the substantial harm it causes to the human body. This is my friend Samir, one of the best chartered accountant of the city. Let's have a look at some of the daily activities of Samir. Every morning, Samir wakes up early at 6 o'clock. Then Samir does various physical exercise and activities. After finishing his exercise schedule, Samir reads some good book to nurture his mind with some good and positive thoughts. Then Samir takes his breakfast cooked by his mother. After taking his breakfast, he leaves for office, and along the way to office, Samir chews tobacco and feels good for a while. In the evening, after coming from office, Samir smokes 2-3 cigarettes by standing at balcony of his home, and he feels that he's making his evening wonderful. Samir eats very light food as a dinner. Samir takes a glass of wine before going to his bed. Now you tell me, is my friend Samir addictive person? No, he's not. Absolutely not. These are some of the good and bad habits of Samir. Instead of waking up early at 6 o'clock, if Samir wakes up at 8 o'clock, it doesn't matter to him. If he doesn't do exercise at all, there's no problem to him. If he doesn't read some good book in the morning, there's not much difference to his day. Instead of taking light dinner, if Samir takes heavy food in his dinner, there's no problem to him. But if Samir doesn't chew tobacco while going to office, or if he doesn't smoke 2-3 cigarettes after coming from office, or if he doesn't drink a glass of wine before going to bed, he feels that something is missing from his day. He doesn't feel good. He becomes sad. He feels depression. So friends, despite substantial harm it causes to the human body, Samir's habit of chewing tobacco, smoking and drinking is called addiction. Samir is one of the best chartered accountant of the city and a knowledgeable person as well. One day, I asked to Samir, why are you addicted to tobacco? Why do you smoke and drink? He answered that in tobacco, there is a substance called nicotine which activates areas of the human brain that are involved in producing feelings of pleasure and reward. But this nicotine is having a special characteristic. Once you supply nicotine to human brain, the brain asks for nicotine again and again. When you chew tobacco, nicotine reaches to your brain, and as soon as tobacco is finished in your mouth, supply of nicotine to your brain gets stopped. And you start feeling sadness, being angry, being depressed, and you feel laziness in your body. Again, to feel good, you start supplying nicotine by chewing tobacco, and unconsciously you start feeding these bad feelings deep inside your body and mind. Every time you chew tobacco, and feelings like anger, depression, laziness, sadness, etc. creates a home inside your body, and at the end there is no option except supplying nicotine to your brain by chewing tobacco, and human becomes slave of the addiction. Friends, let's talk about some of the impacts of addiction. There are two types of addiction impacts, physical impacts and external impacts. If we talk about physical impacts, then there is a chance of heart attack. Heartbeat gets increased, blood pressure goes high. If you do some small physical activity, you get tired instantly. You may need to work hard for a very small physical activity. Human brain gets damaged, and gradually your memory becomes weak. There is a bad smell from your mouth, deterioration of teeth, you may lose original taste of your food, there is a chance of throat infection and mouth cancer. If I talk about human lungs, then there is a chance of lungs cancer, you may feel trouble in breathing, you may have cough. If I talk about muscles, then muscles get weak, legs get severe pain, your skin becomes dry and dead, you may lose glitter from your skin. If we talk about external impacts, then due to the addiction, feelings like anger, depression, laziness, sadness, etc. gets deep inside human body and mind. So there are family problems, quarrel with wife, being angry on kids without a reason, spoil the relationships with society, speak a lie, money laundering, sometimes you take wrong decisions in business, you forget things easily. So friends, these are all bad impacts of addiction on human physical and external world. Now let's talk about how to quit addiction. To quit addiction, you need to be prepared mentally as well as physically. If somebody says that I will quit addiction slowly, meaning that person is making you fool. Friends, not that he is not going to quit his addiction in his whole life, and even though he quits addiction, he will start again chewing tobacco again. But around me, I have seen many people who believes this knowledge as truth, and once they decide that I will never ever chew tobacco again in my entire life, even though he dies. Friends, believe me, this decision means quit from addiction. Now let's talk about some of the techniques to quit addiction. Step number 1. Finalize a day when you are going to quit addiction. For example, your upcoming birthday, your wedding anniversary, first day of next month, etc. Step number 2. Tell others about your decision of quitting addiction. Friends, trust me, this will give you a very big support because others will keep on reminding you about your decision and date of quitting addiction. Step number 3. Decide what you will take instead of nicotine. For example, chewing gum, cardamom, various anti-addiction sprays available in the market. Step number 4. Just think of the activities when you don't chew tobacco or smoking. For example, when you are in temple or church or mosque, you are not used to chew tobacco or do smoking, then start going to those places. Step number 5. Stop going to all those places and leave all those items which reminds you of your addiction. For example, stop going to a tobacco shop and throw away your cigarette case or tobacco box. Step number 6. Meet people who have quitted addiction and share your experiences with each other. Step number 7. Be conscious towards the physical changes in your body. For example, having headache, feeling laziness, being depressed. However, don't lose a hope to fight with your mind to quit addiction because you are going to win for sure. Step number 8. And at last, your commitment towards quitting addiction is the key of your success. Friends, since your child grew up, it might be your child is asking you many times to quit addiction, but I am sure about your answer. Just to keep your child's heart alive, your answer will be that it's a long time habit and I cannot quit it instantly, but I promise you to quit it slowly. Friends, do you know, perhaps you are making your kid fool for last 10-15 years, but you never know that you are not making your kid fool. But trust me, you are making yourself a fool. Let's have a look at some facts related to addiction. The world population is 7.5 billion. Population of India is 1.35 billion. Out of 1.35 billion population, there are 660 million addicted people in India. There are 20 million addicted kids whose age is between 10 and 17. There are 520 million of addicted youth whose age is between 18 and 60. And there are 120 million of addicted Indians whose age is above 60. It's a matter of concern that there are 20 million kids who are addicted because of easy availability of tobacco at every street corner in India. In foreign countries, tobacco selling is allowed only to above 18 age people, and one needs to show his age proof to buy tobacco item from a store. Of course, in India we have legal laws which disapprove selling of tobacco to below 18 age kids. But it's a shame that every tobacco shop owners are not following this law. In India, there are 84% addicted males and 16% addicted females. India is the second largest country in terms of consuming tobacco. India is third largest country in terms of producing tobacco. Meaning, in India, we have to import tobacco from foreign lands to mitigate the tobacco demand. Thanks. I hope that if you are an addictive person, then you will follow the knowledge and tips to get rid of addiction and also share this knowledge with all those who are addictive. Perhaps you may save life of your addicted friends, family members and fellow country people, and ultimately this will make the country strong for sure. Friends, to make your YouTube experience wonderful, please press subscribe button to stay tuned with this channel. You can like this video as well as you can place a comment as a feedback. And friends, don't forget to share this video with your dearest friends and family members. Thank you very much for joining me. Thank you.